Hey there, Danavan Hylton. Wishing you a great rest of the day and congratulating you in advance for the success that's going to accumulate in your personal life and career. So let's get right into it. Getting things done for your community or your neighborhood. Now, this is a government relations conversation, especially for community organizers, if you will, individuals that are passionate about your community. How do you get the change that you're looking for? Let's get into it. Two things. It boils down to this from my perspective. With the background that I'm in, from my perspective, it boils down to two things. And as an elected official, for those that are looking for re-election or for those that are looking to become elected, it boils down to two things. The money and the people/community. Now, community organizers traditionally are what one may consider volunteer sector organizations, meaning traditionally they're of a not-for-profit business status, which means that they're a nonprofit organization, 501c3, C4, whatever have you. But they're nonprofit nonetheless. So traditionally, those type of organizations may not have a lot of money, but they have a lot of people or community, people or influence in the community. So these, I feel, are the two things that elected officials look for if they're looking for re-election. So there is some self-interest for an elected official, but the self-interest is technically supposed to be for the people. So it's a touchy thing because I feel like if you're going to be an elected official, it cannot be about you. I feel like most of the time, elected officials should almost be retired. They shouldn't really be focusing on the money. They shouldn't have to be focusing on the fame or the recognition. I'm not saying that elected officials do that, but that is usually a case. And so I feel like if someone has nothing to lose and they're in it for the people, traditionally your elders or your seniors, those are traditionally your best fit if they have a strong team that can help them communicate with the community and be mobile, both for their elected official duties as well as their duties to the constituents. So, keeping in mind though, if you have someone that's not of that stature or someone that's not on that mindset, they're looking for two things for re-election: money and influence in the community. And it's no different than what I serve and specialize in sales and marketing when it comes to business development, which is increasing your customer base, and community relations, which is basically increasing your presence in the community and helping to increase community buy-in. So, if you are an organization or that's a nonprofit, doesn't really have money, how do you get your message across to the decision maker, which is the elected official? Because indirectly, you're a lobbyist, you're a lobbyer. You know, you're lobbying your thoughts, your rights, your beliefs for your district, your community, your base to someone or that can actually make it happen. So, how do you do that? Keep in mind, individual is great, but in this particular game of the public sector, you have to have some power and influence with you. So if you're not an individual that has money or have a network of money, traditionally you have to be an individual that has a influential community organization. Usually they're, in a traditional sense, they're usually churches. But there's been a lot more nonprofits that are now coming out that focus strictly on government relations and social services and economic development and community development for the community. So more so, if you are a person, if you're not someone as a person that already has that community influence, be it with a pastor or what you've done in the community, you may want to connect with an organization. Doesn't matter how long they've been there. The question is that organization consistent? And I want to give you a few organizations to look at in regards to the consistency, because it's the consistency that gets the ears of the elected officials, because elected officials come and go. They're going to always change. But if that organization is at least engaged enough in their district to where they can make noise to connect to the media and ruffle some feathers to where the elected official has to say, well, let me talk with you even though I don't like you, that means that you are consistently being a voice and making a name for your community, and that's how an elected official will have their attention. So if you say, I'm just Joe Smith, they might say, great, hey Joe Smith, shake your hand, kiss the baby, I need your vote. But if you say, I'm Joe Smith with XYZ organization, that elected official will know, well, XYZ organization has a great relationship with me, or they don't, and they will act accordingly, especially if it depends on the role that you're in with that organization. So it's almost no different than, your traditional, any organization. I'm not going to say gangs, but any organization. Whatever organization or brand you represent, people, because of the brand that you represent, will act accordingly. So if you're an individual that wants to see change, you need to get with like-minded individuals to create an organization. And off the bat, the elected official is not going to really care. But if you are consistently engaged in your community and get the respect of your community where you can measure followers and engagement and actually just be that voice, over time, an elected official you will have an elected official's ears. It's a lot of moving parts to that. But the first step is to make sure that you join or organize into a community organization that is consistently helping the community. So when you're helping the community, then the community is going to believe in you, the community is going to back your voice, and then with the community's voice, you're able to go to an elected official, and traditionally, they're probably heard of your work, and so therefore they're going to listen to you. Or more so, you can go to your elected official as your organization and say, hey, look, from a community relations standpoint, what are some of the things that you feel like you need done and you need some extra bodies to come out and help you just for free or whatever. Those are the kind of things that will help you get at the table with an elected official. Outside of that, the dollar always talks. This is a very quick subject, very broad. We'll get more into community organizing and how to be effective. I feel the next conversation we'll be talking about private meetings. If you're a community organization, private meetings, how to conduct them so that you can receive a public hearing that's the best fit for you. Next subject is going to be private meetings to public hearing. But for today's topic, how to get things done for your community, at the end of the day, naked alone you come in, and naked alone you leave. So don't worry about no we and this what we gonna do and us. No, you're your own individual. And if you wake up and do what you're supposed to do for yourself and your community, your neighborhood, you're gonna be graced with like-minded individuals that are gonna cross your path, and then all you guys can come together and do what you're supposed to do and hold each other accountable. Not from meetings, but to continue to walk in the standards of how you guys met. So if you guys focus on that, you're going to get an organization at some point, and if you can do community cleanups, you can go out there and teach kids how to swim, whatever. Go out there and pave a road or pave a sidewalk for the seniors. Something on a consistent basis that shows that you care for your community by your actions, by the activity. And once you get that going on a consistent basis, the community is going to respect that. Make sure you're doing good PR work and pictures, videos, interviews, blasting it out to the community, blasting it out to elected officials. You don't really want to have any challenges with the elected officials, but you do want to let them know you're in the building. And most importantly, when you consistently do those things, over time, you will get the ear of your elected officials. And once you have their attention, the question is, how do we go into private meetings to be effective? And how do we create public hearings to be effective? And how do we brand ourselves in the community while we're in the public light with elected officials? That's a moving conversation with a lot of moving parts. This is Danavan Hylton. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and following to all the links below. This message was sponsored by Hylton Elite Marketing Agency, your full-service sales and marketing firm, helping the public and private sector increase their customer base and their community presence and working in diverse communities, and helping working in diverse professionals and businesses connect to the public and private sector for a number of different reasons. www.e1connect.com, and thank you for visiting and clicking on the Cash App link to donate what you felt this message was worth. Danavan Hylton, congratulating you in advance for your success. See you next time.